guys, it's time for a new tier list. So as usual, I will split them into a lane and jungle tier list. So we have two separate tier lists. You can look at the chapters and go to the one you want to see. And if you guys enjoy this content, I would obviously appreciate if you like the video and subscribe to my channel. Alright, let's start with the lane tier list. We have S+ this time, because last time you guys were like, oh, there's too many S tier characters. So I'm going to try to maybe spread them out a bit more. Let's start with Absol. I think Absol is very, very strong right now. After the body barrier nerfs as well, score sheet nerfs, a lot of characters are much squishier. It's still not that good in pre-made, so I would still put it somewhere in S tier. Currently, if you want to win solo queue games, it's absolutely insane character and can recommend playing it. Blastoise as well, absolute menace right now. The Rapid Spin Hyper or Rapid Spin Water Spout build is very, very strong and deserves a mention. And then we have, might be a surprise. Obviously, this is more for laning. This is not as, this is like for solo queue, pre-mating, everything, this lane tier list. I think Blissey is absolutely broken right now, especially after all the nerfs to shield. She's the one that can keep a carry alive, right? And also her Unite boost gives a shield. In general, I think this character is beyond busted. And but yeah, I still wouldn't recommend playing Blissey in solo queue, right? It's more of a pre-made character. But you can also play Blissey in solo queue and probably have quite good success on it. Then we have Charizard, goes into the stinky tier. Absolutely hate laning with a lane Charizard. It's so useless. Yeah, you guys know the pain of someone having to lane with a lane Charizard. And yeah, it's just bad. It's just terrible in lane. It just doesn't really do anything. Cinder Ace as well goes into the stinky tier. If you play these Pokemon in lane, you're stinky, just so you know. And yeah, goes into there as well. Cramorant got a small buff. I think Cramorant is not that bad right now. But I think I still have a hard time putting him higher than into like this. I'm going to put him out of the stinky tier. I'm going to put him into B. And I think that's totally fair. He did see some plays very competitive, but he relies a lot on teammates. And yeah, I don't think he's still quite necessarily something too amazing. But I think he has potential to be higher depending on what build people find out. And depending on how the meta's going to evolve. Crussell got insanely hard nerfed. Yes, he can crit again. I'm actually going to have a fun crit video coming up as well, where I play crit Crussell. It was very, very fun. But it's nothing too competitive, nothing too viable. And him having Body Barrier and Score Sheet nerfed, and Score Sheet was one of the best things on him, right? Combining with his Unite move and a Body Barrier to score a lot of points as well. Got completely removed and yeah, puts him into here. I think Eldegoss is still quite strong. I think Eldegoss just gets pushed away by Blissey and Hooper just being very dominant right now. But besides that, I think Eldegoss is still a very solid character. I'm going to put it into A tier for now, but it's probably somewhere between A and S tier. Garchomp, honestly, Garchomp is not too bad, I would say, right now. I think I'm going to put him in a solid A tier. I do like him. I started playing him as well, and he's actually quite decent. But yeah, needs a bit more to be a strong considered Pokemon. Gardevoir, I think, also still solid lane character. Also, this tier list is kind of weird right now because I would try not to think about the XP bug, right? There's currently an experience bug in the game that makes people that need to evolve harder to evolve on. But I would try to not have that in mind and try to still rank them, because it's going to get fixed in 3 days. Still rank them how I think they are without the XP bug. Then we have Gengar lane. Gengar lane, yeah, I'm just going to put him up. Honestly, Gengar lane, the more I play, the stronger it feels, and I really don't think it's too bad. I really, really don't think it's anything too bad, and it's for sure something you can consider playing. And yeah, I can recommend you try it out. Of course, it's a bit difficult and does take a lot of things or a lot of time to play, but it's honestly quite good. It's honestly quite good. Then we have Greedent. Greedent got a nerf, but is still absolutely a menace to deal with. Not very fun to play against, and yeah, it's a struggle to play against this Pokemon. It is a huge, huge struggle to play against this one. Then we have Greninja, goes into the stinky tier. Don't like it, don't like it, don't like it in lane. It's one of the best junglers in the game, and one of the worst laners in the game. Doesn't really do anything there. Of course, if he gets level 7, you can do certain things, but still wouldn't recommend doing it. Lucario, surprise, surprise, S+ tier. Yes, he got nerfed, but so everyone lost HP. And he was one of the rare characters who didn't use Body Barrier, so he doesn't really care. Most Lucario players also stepped away from using Score Shield, so didn't use that either, so I think it's still a very, very strong character. Then we have Machamp. Machamp goes into the S tier. Still very strong lane as well, and now his Unite move is even stronger, people are squishier, and his Unite move can make a lot of things happen. Mamoswine, I think Mamoswine has potential, but there's just something like just missing. He's just missing something, and I have a hard time putting him higher. He has insane laning phase, right? It doesn't really matter, like this is not just who has the strongest laning phase, like which Pokemon are strong during the entire game as picked as in lane, right? So he just does fall off pretty fast, but I think he's somewhere between A and B tier for sure. Nothing, he's not terrible either, but also nothing too amazing on the other hand too. Mr. Mime did lose a lot of power, but I think still solid A tier. It's quite hard to play right now. But yeah, he also lost Body Barrier. I mean, Mime is the character that uses Body Barrier, right? But lost a lot of power there as well. Ninetales, I'm gonna put Ninetales into a, I mean, Ninetales between like higher A, lower S tier. I would say it did lose a lot of power. I'm gonna put into A tier for now. It's still quite strong. Like, Ninetales is a Pokemon, depending on lane partner, the Pokemon gets stronger, right? If you compare Hooper with the Ninetales, Ninetales is up here. If you combine Ninetales with a Wigglytuff, it's up here. But if you have something like a Garchomp, Gardevoir, you don't really do much. Like, this is just a Pokemon empowered by having good lane partners. But yeah, still think higher A tier, lower S tier is for sure something considerate. Same for Pikachu. Did lose a lot of power as well, but I think he's pretty similar to Ninetales right now. Also, honestly, I always hate on Vulteke, but Vulteke in the current meta is quite good, because people are just very, very squishy. So he does have a lot of power as well. And yeah, I'm gonna put him into A tier. Higher A tier, lower S tier. But still very, very strong Pokemon. Slowbro, yeah, solid A tier character, I would say. One of the strongest defenders as well right now. If you want to have a solid CC tank, then that's something you can consider picking for sure. And he's honestly pretty fun to play. And Body Barrier nerf is also good for him, which means that you can easier burst someone down now without allies saving someone, right? So he's pretty good. Snorlax, I mean, I don't think Snorlax is too bad. I really don't think he's too bad of a character. I'm gonna put him into A tier as well. I think he's somewhere lower A tier to B tier. I think people underestimate how much block does. I think block is the insane, heavy slam is insane, he has very good laning phase. And I think he's quite underestimated sometimes. Sylveon also goes into higher A tier. Also another underestimated character. Very, very strong in the right hands. But does take a good amount of skill to play as well, to keep people in your hyper voice. And but yeah, big fan of Sylveon still. Talonflame. Talonflame is not the worst laner, but he is quite not that strong. So I'm going to put it into B tier. You can lane with him. I still prefer having Talonflame in lane over these characters. So put him in there. Venusaur is still S tier easily. We have Wigglytuff. Now that my AT is actually filling up now quite fast. This might be a problem looking at the screen at some point. Zaora, I think, B tier. I still rather have Zaora. He actually has early game power. He can actually get kills in early game compared to these characters. Decidueye, he needs level 7. Still nothing too amazing, but if he gets to level 7, even lane, he would be quite strong. But his early game can sometimes be so difficult to play that I think he can't be really higher than B tier. And there we go. I'm just gonna make this a bit smaller so you guys can see everything. Alright, there we go, much better. Now we can see everything again. Our AT is just filling up quite fast. Trevenant as well. I think Trevenant is not quite S tier, but he's quite strong. Put him into A tier. There's just certain matchups in certain games where he feels quite difficult to play. So I'm gonna put him into A tier. Dragonite is absolutely stinky in lane. This Pokemon, every time I have to lane with the Ratini, I don't have fun playing the game. I have to admit, it just doesn't really do anything. It needs level 8, which is quite far away for a laner. And yeah, Serena I put into A tier. I don't think I said that, but yeah, Serena into A tier. Stomp is quite strong. I still don't consider it S tier, but it has potential to be S tier for sure. Aegislash, same, pretty similar to Serena right now, very strong characters. I mean, A tier doesn't mean they're bad, right? A tier still means they're quite strong characters and they're all very pickable and playable, and you can carry these characters quite decently. And so, yeah, Aegislash after the last buff, also quite strong. Then we have Duraludon. I mean, he's somewhere lower A tier, I would say now. Dragon Pulse in lane is quite bad, but I think Flash Cannon in lane has potential to be quite strong, but it's nothing too amazing either. Hooper goes into S tier, still, even after the nerfs, absolute broken character. I feel like nothing can just match Hooper unbound in teamfights. And now people go back to Hyperspace as well, which allows you fast rotations, easy recalls as well. And yeah, this character is just busted. Busted. And Azumarill, stinky tier. I just don't understand. Like, they actually nerfed this character last patch. They actually managed to nerf this character. And yeah, you can have good games on it, but it just feels worthless. It really feels very bad and quite meh. Like, Aqua Tail is unplayable now, so you have to play Whirlpool, but Whirlpool struggles against a lot of certain team comps as well. So I think it's somewhere between like lower B tier, higher stinky tier, but yeah. This is the lane tier list. I'm gonna go over to the jungle tier list now. Alright, now for the jungle category, we have also an S+ tier, and I think ranking junglers is quite difficult because there's so many good junglers. So again, A and B will not mean that these characters are bad in jungle. I just think they're a bit lesser good than the ones above them. But yeah, it doesn't mean, like, I will put more characters into A tier instead of S tier, like last time, just so you guys maybe have a bit of a better ranking. But again, A tier also still means those characters are good. It's just the jungle role is so overpowered that anything you put into jungle seems good, right? That's the problem with it. It's just such an oppressive role that just, you know, has so many good characters, so many good carries. Let's start with Absol. Again, Absol very strong right now, easily, in my opinion, S tier. Again, falls off. The more premates there are in the game, the more it falls off. But besides that, very, very strong. Blastoise is also very good jungler right now. Gonna put him into A tier. Yeah, Blastoise is very strong with Weapons and Water Spout, can jungle easily too. Charizard as well is still a very strong character. His only problem sometimes is, again, if you get unstoppable during his Unite move, you can lose late game teamfights quite easily. And there's still good amount of unstoppable effects in the game, so if you're not careful enough, you might have a hard time. Cinderace, S tier easily, very strong character. I did not put Cinderace into my best Pokemon to rank up with in the season, but doesn't matter what, I still think this character is very strong. It's just sometimes a bit difficult now for Cinderace to stay alive, due to less body barriers being around as well, so if your team just doesn't peel for you, you're gonna have a hard time, but besides that, the Pokemon is absolutely insane. Garchomp, I think Garchomp is not too bad right now as well. We saw Toon playing him lately as well, goes into B tier. I still think it's nothing too amazing, but it does show potential. Gengar, I think Gengar is absolutely insane right now in jungle. Very, very strong. Deserves, in my opinion, an S tier easily. Yeah, character is very, very strong in the current meta after the body barrier nerfs. Greninja, I think, is an S+ Pokemon in jungle. This character is just so, so strong. And yeah, they even got a buff, right? He got a buff last patch, so quite insane. Lucario, I think, is a solid B tier jungle as well. He gets level 5 quite easily. With it, he can, but I would still not recommend playing it, but he can jungle and he can be quite good. Gardevoir, A tier. Gardevoir might struggle into certain meta Pokemons right now, just getting bursted down by Greninja, Gengar, Absol, you name them, Talonflame, so I'm going to put her into A tier. Still very strong jungler too though, and for sure it's something you can consider picking. Talonflame, in my opinion, also still S tier. I think Brave Bird is still very, very broken with this Unite move as well. Obviously it's much harder to play now, but doesn't matter what, he still does absolutely crazy damage. We have Venusaur. I'm going to put Venusaur into A tier. Can also jungle quite well, but just not as good as other Pokemon does. Zeraora. I think Zeraora slowly has a chance again. His discharge, his discharge buff, doesn't feel too bad. I still think he's lacking a bit of few things. Again, just being a level 10 Pokemon can be quite rough sometimes, but I do think he has potential to be higher rank somewhere near in the next patches. And then we have Machamp. I think Machamp goes also in this entire like melee category of like, yeah, these Pokemon are not bad, but they are not carry junglers necessarily, right, compared to the other ones on top, but they can still be played quite easily too. Then we have Decidueye. I think Decidueye is also solid A tier. Just has some very hard matchups, so besides that, this character does a lot and is very fun to play and very strong with Spirit Checker currently. Dragonite as well. I think Dragonite is not too bad. You have to play him differently now, you have to play more like a DPS. I will also have a Dragonite video coming up soon talking about how you should play him now, and if you still want to play him, you can still totally do. But I don't think it's S tier worthy, but I think it's still solid A tier. And again, A tier doesn't mean bad, right? A tier still means quite strong. Duraludon as well, lost a lot of power, still does decent damage and can still be considered easily an A tier character. We have Aegislash, which saw some jungling lately, and honestly, I played it myself as well. It feels quite good in jungle. I'm going to put him also into like a lower A tier for now. I think he does show potential to be a strong jungler. He has very good level 5 and very good ganks. Then we have Serena. Serena goes into this category as well. I think this Pokemon can jungle quite well and is not to be underestimated, but it's nothing too amazing either. And I think that's it for junglers, right? I'm looking, is there something else? I mean, we have Mystic Fire, Sylveon. In theory, can also be somewhere in the... I guess Atsumare. Atsumare is a terrible jungler. Just don't play Atsumare at all. You know, I'm going to put her into the last tier as well in this tier list as well. Just so hopefully they buff Atsumare a little bit and downnerf the character again. Alright, that's it for the tier list. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and let me always know which one you agree the most with, which placements you disagree the most with. I'm always interested in hearing your guys' thoughts, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!